if you're asking me to comment on all this, I would be at a loss. Because, however, if you ask the curators why they decided to have that show, they're the ones that connect the dots, actually. I am in the middle of the dots. So I sometimes you cannot see the trees in the forest, you know. So it's really hard for me to describe what I'm doing when I'm still doing it.
Yeah, true. But maybe there are some experiences that you can pinpoint that are significant, especially
That's a big maybe.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah.
And yeah, I will not pursue that path because you're still at it. But
right.
we're just interested maybe to know some growth areas and some challenges as an artist.
Sure.
Yeah.
The challenges are, you know, the knowing your work habits. I think it's very important. I base my working habits on the phases of the moon. So there are times that it's like charging and discharging. Through personal or science, by rhythm, I would know when my ups or when my downs would be, and then that's the time that I either work or finish my works. I never finish one work at a time. I always have about 20 other things that I'm finishing. So then sometimes I just rest, and then I just clean up, and that was the kind of working habit I have followed for these past few years.
So in a way, you have known your own rhythm of life.
Yes,
to rest,
yes,
to work,
yes.
and also
Yes.
You can do work simultaneously and
Yes.
revisit them and
Right.
revisit them again. Yeah. Have you noticed some common themes in your work?
Sometimes.
Yeah.
Sometimes.
What are some of those themes?
The greed.
Oh, okay.
All of a sudden, I see lines going like that, the horizon and the vertical, and then just like an animation going to the micro,
Yeah.
and then
I'm zooming in, zooming
zooming
out.
out, yeah. Something like that. And then I have rhythms, so that there's music to it, just like a Bach's fugue that goes round and round and round. That's what I listen to when I'm usually doing things.
So there's zooming in, zooming out, looking at things in micro,
Yeah.
macro level.
One step forward, two steps backward, you know.
Music and some patterns like
Right.
lines.
Some kind of a pattern or a rhythm. And then there's also silence also, because that's what makes the music, the silence.
Yeah. So in a way, when we look at your work, we want to see these things, these patterns, so that we can also discern some themes that you are exploring in your own art and also printmaking processes. Okay. Moving on, I've noticed that there are some new and exciting images that you've been uploading in Instagram and Facebook. I've noticed that they are distorted, abstracted, manipulated, and I don't know. And for example, this work, The Night, Death, and the Devil, 1513, engravings by Durer.
Albert Durer.
Yeah.
There's the night, and then at the back is the is death, and then on the other side is the devil. Yeah. And I did this during the time when Trillanes was facing death and the devil. Yeah, I guess the third day somewhere.
So it may not be overtly socio-political, but it is
Oh
informed.
yes, it is overtly. I'm not trying to hide anything.
Yeah, but you don't see the face of Trillanes there, or
There's the devil. There.
yeah.
Straight here.
Minus 3, yeah.
Yeah.
And this one, Las Meninas.
Las Meninas, the ladies in waiting.
Yes.
The Velasquez.
At the Prado Museum.
Yeah. When I had my scholarship, I had free access to Prado. There was a mirror in a small room because he was painting in front of a mirror.
Yeah.
And that's, so it's like that, you know, there was a mirror. And there's Diego Velasquez himself. And then the ladies in waiting, then the portrait of the king and the queen. There should be another one there. This is a series of 10 variations that I made. And I was thinking that because they're seen through several lenses. You know, I was thinking maybe this is how a fly would look at this painting. You know, the fly has just several hexagons like that.
So multi-perspective.
Yeah. And then there's also the dimension. Then you see that, you know, reality has so many levels.
And the last example is by H.R. Campo.
H.R. Campo, yeah.
Collection of Ateneo Art Gallery.
Yeah. This is what Eric Torres says is Sarimano,
Yeah, that's a nickname, but
which H.R. denies. He said, I've never seen a Sarimano before. But Eric says it's a Sarimano.
but is it really a Sarimano?
I
Because
don't
it's
know.
just
I don't
labeled
think-
53Q.
yeah.
So my question for these three digital renditions of these artworks would be, what kind
It's
of
my homage.
your homage to
Yeah.
these artists,
Right.
and also they're informed by some social-political context as well.
It's also channeling their aesthetics.
Yeah. But I'm fascinated that it's still using the idea of printmaking, that it is, there's multiplicity,
Yeah.
but the multiplicity is in the 10 variations.
Right.
And at the same time, I like that you uploaded it on social media,
Yeah.
because the idea of access as well. So
Exactly.
it's very clever.
Thank you.
So I'd like to share the last video. The last video talks about Pandi's own ideas about printmaking. Moving on. There's another one, yeah. Produced by Adobe Magazine.
Printmaker. If you go into Photoshop, for instance, you will have to know what a mesotic effect is, or a woodcut effect, things like that. So you should have something, some background of what printmaking is. Oh, I use digital video. I mix it with woodcut and shape. And it helps me create better images. I think the younger artists should learn from the idea that printmaking is a gateway to other mediums. When you do prints, you are also doing painting, you are also doing sculpture, you're also doing some recording. It's a gateway. I mean, it will open up new horizons for young artists. The future of printmaking is a very bullish one. It's something that I look forward to.
I think you said about the future of printmaking, and one of the directions that I'm seeing is the ones that you're producing now. Provide us a possibility of like digital platform as a way of also communicating those ideas of printing, and also homage to some artists, and also reflections of the current social-political context. Okay. We have students here, and you might want to inspire them with some words with regards to art and printmaking.
The best way to start collecting artwork is to join a printmaking workshop.
That will happen right now.
Because you can exchange your prints with your classmates. And there's a lot of thing happening in a workshop that doesn't happen elsewhere. In a painting studio, there's always the idea of secrecy, there's always rivalry, it's always that, I paint better than you. Unlike in a workshop, everybody helps. It's a teamwork, and then, of course, they always say, why don't you do this, why don't you do that? Like, too many cooks spoiling the broth. But, sometimes you have to be also a decision maker, you know what you want. So, in my awarding night, I reminded the audience about the African word Ubuntu, meaning I am who I am because of the people I'm with. In other words, when they gave that award to me, it was also giving an award to a group of people, because printmaking is a team effort. It's you depend on others, and that's it.
Thank you for that note that it reminds us of the communal and democratic space of printmaking.
There's another word for it. I think it's egregore, and then there is the Christogenesis of Teilhard de Chardin.
So maybe I know more. Yeah. See, we'll open the floor to few questions. So that we can start our workshop, so that we can experience what you said about the democratic space, that we can share our experience. Okay.
Any questions?
So, any questions? Si Joey.
We'd like to acknowledge the presence of Joey, also member of the
Printmakers here to
Philippines.
pick up some points.
Congrats.
Tanong naman kayo. Oh, please. Okay.
Good evening po. I have a question regarding, since you also explored digital medium and incorporating that with traditional woodcuts and other forms of printmaking. What made you do that as an artist, going from a traditional medium and then exploring other mediums in a more digital platform, especially with this age? And how did that? Sorry.
How did that happen?
How was your experience going from traditional to something more digital?
I've always been experimenting with mediums that I would like to express my my ability to use it for a particular statement. So when the digital technology came, I studied it, you know. I got myself an iPad. Then I, you know, just like a little boy, I just tried to fool around with it. And then eventually I was able to fuse the woodcut effect, and then, in fact, in my iPad, I have this digital woodcut, wherein you would do the woodcutting itself in the iPad, and it would look like a woodcut, yeah. Ukiyo-e. Ukiyo-e. And it's free. Good. Yeah, they know you, yeah.
So is it possible in the future for a workshop on digital printmaking?
Yes.
I thought it was a trade secret.
No. Let's start first with the traditional. If we can ask sponsors to donate equipments here, you know, like a lithograph press and etching press, and then that's the beginning. And also the idea, I think, of the young people starting to own art. I think that's very important. One of the reasons why I enjoy forums like this, fora like this, is when I convince young people to invest in art. Start buying prints. With a few thousand, you can already start a print collection. Imagine you buy a shoes worth 5,000 every month, or a bag, and then you use it on for a couple of months. Then you want to buy another one. You can already start buying prints by Santiago, perhaps, and then you start, you know, having your own collection, like you start collecting CDs, or you know, or music, or you know. But I think the future of Philippine art belongs to the young people who start buying art now. The best time to buy art was 20 years ago, now. Yeah.
And the other side is our young people they're also interested in producing art themselves.
Also, yeah.
So that they can also share it. And instead of buying, we'll just have barter.
Yeah.
Exchange. No?
That's the idea of having prints, making prints, because you can give them as a gift, you know.
Some comments, questions? Please.
Yeah.
Hello, good evening. I found it quite interesting how you said you based your work ethic with the phases of the moon. I'm just curious about it. Like how...
Like an almanac.
Yes.
Yung, di ba, farmer would plant at a certain time, and then they would harvest. The same.
How did you pick that
Women's
up?
cycle. Pareho rin ng women's cycle. Evolution. Yeah. Ovulation, and then something else afterwards.
Parang werewolf din.
Yeah, exactly.
How did you pick that up, sir? Or how...
Through experience. And from asking other persons how they do it. And one was the almanac. Old Robert's almanac. And it shows there the best time to do whatever you want. Plant this, plant that.
So, sir, what phase of the moon are you most productive in?
I think it's the the first quarter, like, because tomorrow is first quarter. So this is the waxing moon. Tapos during openings also, I like that the opening be before the full moon or during the full moon. Usually, there's so much activity during the full moon. And then during the waning moon, that's the time when you finish doing things, wrap up. And then for the new moon, that's when you get your haircut, you cut your nails, and all those things, that will prepare you for the next full moon. So it sounds okay to me. Yeah.
So thank you, Bree. Maybe we will start.
Ano ba? Book of Ecclesiastics ba yan? Yung time for...
season for everything. There's a
That's
time.
it. Yeah.
But I think you've connected to the cosmic energy.
Oh, yeah.
Some other comments? Then we'll
go to the...
Okay, we'll just thank Pandi for this conversation, but we'll also continue with the workshop. There's a demo. Okay. Yeah.
Pero it's fine. We can share you one.
Leanne will lead the lecture.
You can actually
Yeah.
Hello, good afternoon, everybody. So today we're going to demo some basic. Hello. Okay. And this is Luigi. Also assists us. And today we're going to demonstrate some basic print techniques. And the first one, what is this technique?
It's the difference between intaglio and relief. Now, I have here a block. The space here, where it's curved, that's the intaglio. Ito naman yung relief. Now, usually yung woodcut, you have a roller, you roll ink, then you print. Ang intaglio naman is like clay, ginanon mo doon sa intaglio, then ganon, yun. The early Babylonians had a ring, and then they had a clay, and they would go like that. And that's how they write before. Okay.
Okay, so that's one. Yeah, and then these are this is a workshop that we usually do, which is the CD upcycling, and we take these old CDs, yung mga pinaglumaan na hindi na tumutugtog or whatever, and sino bang gumagamit na ng CD, right? But we still keep them for some reason, and this is our way of kind of recycling them. So we take these old CDs and then we etch on them, yeah, and it can be as abstract as this or as illustration-y as this one. And then we print it by putting ink. So, ikaw ba gagawa? Okay, ikaw na lang.
So in intaglio, you want the ink inside the grooves. So usually, you go like that.
So this is the inking portion of the print, where you put the, this is etching ink that we, it's special ink that we use for printing. And then they put all the ink around the plate. So this is a plate, and you put it all around it. And then this is the wiping, where you take the excess ink and wipe it off. But because it's etched, the ink will go inside the grooves, and that's what makes the picture. Okay, so see, once you wipe it all, the ink stays within those etching lines that you made. You can make one of these with a stylus or even a blade. What? Any sharp object. Yeah, you can make your drawing or your design. Okay. So now that it's all wiped off, so you see that yun na, yung mga parang black na yung parts na inetch. And then naka-clean na yung plate where you don't want the ink to be. Okay, so here we'll take some paper, and then we'll go to the press. So this is our little printing press. Isn't it cute? And then, pinagawa ba natin to? Ano ba? Bigat siya. Tapos, you put the plate on sa baba, and then the paper on top, and then you put this, ano bang tawag dyan? Hindi, yung fabric. Blanket, yeah. And then nakita niyo yung sa video, diba yung malaki naming press? So ito yung parang maliit na version niya.
Kaya fit si pan.
So now that we've pressed it, drum roll.
Drum rolling.
And then, okay.
Ta-da!
Ta-da! Amazing! O, diba? So, and then yan mo na yung pwede mo ng i-watercolor or i-gouache, or you can make any kind of thing to it. Yeah. And then you can print it again, diba? And then you'll have, many copies, and that's the point.
Pwedeng i-hand press ba yan? Kung wala ka sa bahay, is there a way of just, parang yung mga hapon, ginagamit lang nila yung rolling pin. Pwede ba? O baking roller? Masyadong na.
Well,
Pwede rin, hindi. Pwedeng pour plaster of Paris over it.
Okay.
Meron kang plaster of Paris, and then after it dries.
Yeah,
pwede rin yung anong tawag, plancha.
and then you can also woodcut naman. Okay. Okay. So,
Cute, no?
Ano maximum niya? Maximum size ng papel?
A4. A4
Ito
yan.
yung weird. Ito pwede tuloy-tuloy.
okay, so this is the third or 3.5 way of printing, which is the woodcut. Yung woodcut naman, it's kind of hard for me to wrap my head around it myself, but basically it's the opposite of the etching, where it's the negative, yeah. So this is a piece of wood that you just etch. You etch your design. Yeah, it's auto-retrato.
Mini version.
Someone in the government. He's always touching his ear like that.
Okay, so the ink is on top of the parts that you want
no
ink.
paper, so I'll use newspaper.
Yeah, okay. It's a special, we need it has to be parang a thinner kind of paper. Eh. And then this one, you don't need a press to print it. You just need, it's a hand rub, yes. Any blunt object. Yeah. We buy it. It's a special printing ink. Yeah. Ano bang ano bang klaseng wood to, Dad? Kasi syempre it has to be able to withstand the etch, diba? And yet soft enough, diba?
Parang rubber.
Yeah, like a rubber stamp. So yan, tada! Wala na yung drum roll. Sure.
What if you want to do 2 or more colors?
You can. It depends on the ink.
Of course,
You can do it. Yeah, usually in our workshops we have different colors. Yeah. Na, kunwari, ito black, tas gagawin mo dito red. So pag print mo, paglabas mo dyan, red yan. Yan.
Pwede rin collage. Mag-collage ka. Iba-ibang kulay ng papel. Ganun mo. Pwede rin yung...
Pero ang hirap kasi kailangan sakto.
Mahirap. Mahirap talaga. Oo.
You can have 2 plates, diba?
Yeah, 3 or 4 or several.
Or print it again.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, right. Right.
You could.
Meron.
You put an X. And that's where
Yeah.
you align the paper.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
So you can mark. So you can print it again, diba? Ipatong mo ulit. So, and then, ito na ba yung last?
Wala na.
Wala na ako. That's it, yay!
But before we part, I would like to show you an old book. This book is I don't know, 17th century book, and it's called the Aesop's Fable.
Here it is, the special magic book.
Right.
You want to take pictures?
Okay.
Okay.
Ikaw na.
So this was the kind of books they produce in the 17th century. Tama yan, no? It's leather. Of course, na-restore na yan. Then there's the book plate. Then there's the Turkish marbling. And then, yeah, it's a chop mark. Yan, no? Yan yung annotations. Ano yan? MDCC 1776, something like that. Yeah, no? See that font? And then the long S also. Yeah, that's an etching, huh? It's Aesop's Fable.
So this is all original from yung plate mismo yung nagprint.
Wala pang photography niyan. Copper, yeah, just like this. Yeah.
And this is an original, the whole book is an original proof, yeah.
Yung mga stories ni Aesop's. And then there's a part here where the artwork was colored.
Yung letters.
Oh.
Letterpress pa yan.
Oh, letterpress. Letterpress.
So here it's colored and hindi pa nagsasmudge yung color kahit na
The same
one.
way as they do in maps. Yan, ganyan. But you see how intense the color is? Hindi pa siya nag-fade, ano?
So something as detailed and fine as that,
Yeah.
how long would it take to create the...
If you don't have TV, if you don't have internet, no electricity, no photography, all you do is that.
to do that?
You will do that just like that. Kasi wala namang ano. You don't go to the, walang malls, walang ano. Yeah, no?
So there's a question here with regards to the original owner of this book.
Yeah. Oh. There's who owns this book or who made the book? I think it was made specially for the Prince of Nassau. If it's there, the Serene Prince Nassau the sixth?
No, seven.
Seven. Yan, yun ang may-ari.
So only royals used to own, these things like this at the time. It's a luxury.
Wala namang ano yun eh. iPad.
The history of the book next sem.
Amazing. Dapat sinasabi sa akin, paano mo naman nakuha yan? How did you get that book? It was a gift to me. Bigay sa akin. Ni Sobel. Somebody whom we didn't discuss.
It's his collection.
Yeah. Kita mo yan, yung Turkish marbling.
Yan. So you guys saw a 100-year-old book.
I hope when the next time we see each other, one of you will say, "Oh, I'm used to collecting art." Remember that day?
Si Pandy na bahala dyan. So on behalf of Ateneo de Manila University, Pandy, thank you. Thank you, Father Jason. Teka, sorry. Meron kaming hindi pa dumadating yung kwan eh. As a token of appreciation. But the OP will, hindi. Sobel, notebook. There's some refreshments outside. Everybody's invited to join us. Yeah. So thank you.